The endless blackness of space was punctuated only by distant stars and the faint hum of the alien ship as it slipped through the solar system undetected. A sleek vessel, unlike anything humanity had ever imagined, glided silently toward Earth. Inside, the alien scientists, members of the Zolarian Collective, prepared for a mission that had puzzled their civilization for decades. They had come to study a peculiar species, humans. To the Zolarians, humans were an enigma wrapped in contradictions. Despite primitive technology compared to their own, humans had conquered a tiny blue world, rapidly adapting and spreading across their planet with relentless drive. Yet, what truly intrigued the alien scientists was humanity's capacity for unpredictable behavior, capable of both astonishing kindness and unfathomable destruction. Dr. Vela, the lead xenobiologist, adjusted the magnification on her scanner. She was among the youngest scientists in the collective to be granted a mission on such a critical scale. Their orders were simple: observe, analyze, and report back. But Vela sensed there was more at stake, secrets buried beneath the surface of human civilization that had to be unearthed. The ship descended into Earth's atmosphere, cloaking itself behind layers of electromagnetic interference. The landing zone was an abandoned research outpost in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, chosen for its isolation and minimal human activity. As the hatch opened, a cold wind whipped against the strange creatures in shimmering suits. The team stepped onto Earth's soil for the first time in centuries. They set up sensors and began collecting data. Initial scans of the environment, atmosphere, and human infrastructure were routine. But as the days passed, the Zolarians' observations grew more intense and unsettling. Humans seemed to possess an insatiable curiosity, exploring the oceans, skies, and even outer space. But their nature was far from peaceful. The scientists recorded images of cities where towering monuments of glass and steel teemed with millions of humans, each pushing toward progress and survival. Yet alongside this industriousness was chaos, pollution, wars, famines, and a constant cycle of birth and death that seemed almost brutal in its rawness. One evening, as the ship's sensors monitored a sprawling metropolis, Vela accessed data streams from Earth's communication networks. She saw bursts of hatred, fear, joy, and love, a chaotic tapestry of emotion woven through the digital pulse of humanity. The deeper she dove into their cultural expressions, the more she felt a growing dread. This species, Vela whispered to her colleagues, possesses a primal fire unlike any we've encountered. Their creativity and destruction are intertwined. We must be cautious. Suddenly, the ship's alarm beeped sharply. A small group of humans had detected unusual signals in the outpost area. A drone sent to investigate was almost discovered. Panic rippled through the alien team. "We cannot reveal ourselves," the mission commander, Torin, ordered. "Retreat to stealth mode and continue analysis remotely." But the fear was not only about being found. As the scientists reviewed footage captured from hidden cameras, they witnessed a scene that froze them in shock. A small human child, no more than 8 years old, faced a violent conflict in the streets. The child's expression shifted from fear to something chilling, an unyielding will to survive that was almost ruthless. The scientists were confounded. How could such a young being harbor such ferocity? Was it survival instinct or something darker? Days later, while exploring historical archives accessed through intercepted transmissions, Vela stumbled on records of humanity's past, wars that had decimated continents, horrific experiments, and endless cycles of rise and fall. The pattern was clear. Humans were driven by something deeper than instinct or reason. They were creatures of extremes, capable of unimaginable love and monstrous cruelty. "This is why our predecessors warned us," Vela murmured. "The terrifying core of humanity isn't their technology or numbers, but what they are beneath." The crew debated in hushed tones. Some argued that humans were survivors, products of harsh evolutionary trials. Others feared they might be a ticking time bomb, creatures whose own nature could spiral out of control, threatening not only themselves, but any who came close. Then, an unexpected transmission was intercepted from a secret military facility. The message was cryptic but urgent, something about Project Genesis and unleashing the core. The Zolarians had to know more. But before they could proceed, their cloaking technology began to falter. The aliens were exposed, not to the world, but to the very people they had come to study. And what happened next would change everything. The malfunction was subtle at first, a faint ripple in the ship's cloaking field, barely noticeable against the dense urban backdrop. But it was enough. A pair of sharp-eyed humans, patrolling near the outpost, spotted a flicker of unnatural light against the night sky. Within minutes, a swarm of military drones was dispatched, converging on the mysterious energy source. Inside the alien ship, tension skyrocketed. "We're compromised," Torrin said, his voice tight. "Our presence is no longer hidden. We must prepare for extraction." But Dr. Vela's curiosity overrode caution. She focused on the intercepted transmission from the human facility. The words Project Genesis kept echoing in her mind. The message was garbled, but clear in its urgency. It spoke of a breakthrough, something powerful enough to alter humanity's future. Project Genesis. What are they hiding? Vela whispered to herself, scanning the data streams. Then, their sensors detected a strange signal emanating from deep within the facility. It wasn't just radio waves or standard communications. It was encoded in a complex pattern of biological data. The signal pulsed with an almost hypnotic rhythm, as if alive. Could this be related to what we saw? The child, the ferocity? Vela asked. Torrin frowned. It's dangerous to speculate. We need hard evidence before we risk anything more. But the ship's AI, more advanced than any human system, began analyzing the signal. Slowly, it unraveled the layers, revealing a shocking truth. The signal was a biological experiment. Genetic codes combined with nanotechnology designed to activate latent human potential. A core buried deep in their DNA. This isn't just evolution, Vela said, eyes wide. It's engineered. Something in their own science is pushing humanity beyond natural limits. Suddenly, the military drones breached the perimeter. The alien ship's defense systems activated, creating a shimmering shield. But it was only a matter of time. Inside the facility, scientists hurried through secured corridors, working on Project Genesis with obsessive intensity. They believed they were on the brink of transcending human limitations, a new dawn of existence. But they did not realize the unpredictable consequences lurking in their experiments. Back on the ship, Vela accessed classified human archives, uncovering decades-old documents about previous secret projects, failed experiments, and cover-ups. One file stood out, a forbidden experiment where children were tested for enhanced aggression and resilience. The image of the child in the streets came flooding back. "We're witnessing the awakening of something ancient and dangerous," Vela concluded. Something humanity tried to unlock, but never fully understood. Torrin made the call. "We must gather all data and leave. This mission has become too volatile." But before they could retreat, the signal grew stronger, synchronizing with bursts of human activity worldwide. Across the globe, people suddenly experienced strange surges, unexplainable bursts of strength, heightened senses, and a fierce will to survive. The Zolarians realized with horror, Project Genesis wasn't confined to a single lab. It had gone viral, and the terrifying truth was dawning on them. Humanity was not just a species struggling to survive. They were a biological weapon, honed by their own desperation and unleashed upon themselves and the universe. The pulse of the Project Genesis signal surged through Earth's biosphere like an invisible wave, touching every corner of the globe. In cities, towns, and isolated villages alike, people began to feel a strange awakening deep within themselves, an ancient spark flickering to life. On the alien ship, the Zolarians scrambled to analyze the escalating phenomena. "The genetic codes are activating in living humans," Vela explained, her voice tinged with awe and growing alarm. "It's as if they've triggered a hidden blueprint in their DNA, a primal force that's been dormant for millennia." Across the planet, ordinary people suddenly found themselves with extraordinary abilities. Some exhibited bursts of incredible physical strength, lifting objects that should have crushed them. Others displayed astonishing mental acuity, solving complex problems instantly or sensing the emotions of those around them with unsettling clarity. But with these gifts came darker consequences. Reports flooded in of sudden outbreaks of violence, riots erupting seemingly from nowhere, people driven by rage or desperation unlike anything seen before. Governments struggled to maintain order, as the unpredictable surge in human power threatened to tear societies apart. Inside the alien ship's observation room, the scientists exchanged grim looks. "This is not just an evolution," Torrance said. "It's a release of something primordial, something they themselves don't understand, let alone control." Vela's fingers danced over the controls as she accessed more hidden archives. A chilling theory took shape. What if this core is not just a survival instinct, but a latent weapon? A biological mechanism forged during some ancient catastrophe, designed to protect the species by any means necessary, even at the cost of reason and morality. The thought was terrifying. The Zolarians had studied countless civilizations, but none had such a volatile, unpredictable survival mechanism embedded in their DNA. It was as if humanity carried a ticking time bomb within itself, one that could ignite the entire planet in chaos. The alien ship's cloaking systems were barely holding. Military forces on Earth had intensified their efforts, deploying advanced detection arrays and interceptors in a desperate attempt to uncover the mysterious presence. The Zolarians were now forced to operate on the edge of discovery. Vela's attention snapped back to the city below, where the child from their earlier footage had reappeared in a live feed, a teenager now, with eyes glowing faintly and an aura of calm that belied the chaos surrounding her. This girl, named Maya by her community, was different. Unlike the others who succumbed to rage, Maya seemed to harness the core's power with uncanny control. She was a beacon of hope and a terrifying unknown. Is she the key to understanding this genetic awakening? Vela wondered aloud. Meanwhile, unknown to the aliens, factions within humanity's own secretive military programs had begun to seek out individuals like Maya, hoping to weaponize their newfound powers. The struggle to control the core was already underway, and the consequences would be catastrophic. As the Zolarians debated their next move, the ground beneath them trembled, not from natural causes, but from the restless surge of a species awakening to a destiny far beyond simple survival. And in the shadow of this awakening, an ancient secret stirred, waiting to reveal itself. The Zolarian ship hovered at the edge of Earth's atmosphere, the atmosphere thick with tension and uncertainty. Every passing hour brought more evidence that Project Genesis was no ordinary scientific endeavor. It was a deliberate unlocking of something ancient and terrible within humanity. Dr. Vela pored over the data again and again, searching for patterns that might explain the source of the core's power. Then, deep within classified human files buried beneath layers of encrypted security, she found a clue, an ancient legend, dismissed by most as myth. The legend spoke of an evolutionary trigger implanted in human DNA eons ago by an unknown intelligence, possibly an extinct civilization or even the mysterious progenitors of humanity. This trigger was not merely genetic, but almost sentient, a self-aware force designed to awaken under conditions of extreme threat. The core, Vela whispered, is a defense mechanism. But it's more than that. It's a war machine encoded within every human cell. The ship's AI cross-referenced this revelation with archaeological records. Catastrophic events in Earth's distant past, mass extinctions, unexplained plagues, sudden bursts of evolution, all aligned with periods when the core seemed to activate. Torrance's face was grave. This means humanity is inherently dangerous, not because of what they've done, but because of what they are. They carry within them a weapon that could annihilate not only themselves, but any species that challenges them. Suddenly, alarms blared. The cloaking device failed entirely, and the alien ship was visible to Earth's satellite arrays and defense systems. Within minutes, Earth's military launched a barrage of missiles and electromagnetic pulses, intent on destroying the invader. The Zolarians scrambled to defend themselves, deploying shields and evasive maneuvers. But in the chaos, Vela sent one last encrypted message back to the collective. A warning about humanity's core, something that transcended technology or diplomacy. Amid the battle outside, the alien ship's sensors picked up Maya once more. Now fully embracing her powers, she moved through the city like a force of nature, halting riots, healing the wounded, but also striking down those who threatened innocent lives. Vela was torn. Maya was the manifestation of humanity's terrifying core, yet also its hope. If we can reach her, Vela said, perhaps we can understand if this power is controllable. But time was running out. The Zolarians had underestimated Earth's military resolve and underestimated humanity's own unpredictable resilience. As the alien ship prepared for a desperate jump back to the collective, Vela made a choice. She activated a risky plan to connect her consciousness to Maya's remotely, attempting a link that might reveal the core's deepest secret. The moment the link engaged, a wave of images, emotions, and memories flooded Vela's mind. Ancient wars, survival instincts sharpened by unimaginable suffering, and the spark of a primal will that refused to be extinguished. And then, a chilling realization. The core was not just a weapon. It was a call to awakening, an invitation to transcend humanity's limits, but only at the price of facing the darkest parts of themselves. As the connection severed, Vela gasped. The future of both species, and perhaps the entire galaxy, now hinged on a terrifying question. Could humanity control the core within, or would it consume them all? The alien ship lurched as Earth's defense systems unleashed a relentless barrage. Torin barked orders, but even their advanced shields flickered under the assault. They had become a target, no longer just observers, but players in a game they barely understood. Inside the ship, Dr. Vela wrestled with the aftermath of her connection to Maya's mind. The raw power of the core was unlike anything she'd anticipated, a living force within humans that defied logic and science. It was hope and horror, creation and destruction entwined. Humanity is standing on the edge of a knife, she said quietly. If the core's power spreads uncontrolled, it will ignite chaos across the planet. But if controlled, it could spark an evolution unlike anything we've seen. Torin's eyes hardened. We didn't come here to judge or interfere. Our mission was to study. But now we must decide, do we intervene to prevent catastrophe, or do we retreat and warn the collective? Their debate was cut short when a transmission arrived, not from Earth's military, but from a new source. The message was fragmented but unmistakably human, coming from Maya herself. I am the core's keeper, the voice said, calm yet filled with a power that resonated across the ship's communication channels. I will not allow this power to be used for destruction, but I cannot do this alone. Vela exchanged a look with Torin. Maya was reaching out, not just to humanity, but to the aliens. It was a plea for alliance, for understanding. Should we respond? Torin asked. Yes, Vela replied. She may be the key to bridging our worlds. As they initiated contact, Maya revealed more of what the core meant. It was not just survival instinct, it was a catalyst for transformation. The core tested humanity's ability to rise above their baser instincts, to choose cooperation over conflict, growth over destruction. But the warning was clear. Failure meant annihilation. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. Earth's forces had launched a final desperate strike. A massive electromagnetic pulse designed to cripple the alien technology. Systems blinked, alarm screamed. In the chaos, Vela made a bold choice. She linked once more to Maya's mind, this time risking everything to stabilize the connection. Inside Maya's consciousness, Vela saw flashes of human history, brutal wars, breathtaking achievements, and moments of profound compassion. The core was a mirror, reflecting the full spectrum of humanity's potential. But lurking beneath was a shadow, an ancient terror born of fear and rage, waiting to consume the light. Back on the ship, as the pulse dissipated, the Zolarians faced a new reality. They could not simply observe anymore. Humanity was awakening, and the galaxy would never be the same. The alien ship, battered but still intact, floated precariously in Earth's upper atmosphere. Inside, The Zolarians braced themselves for what might be their final moments on this world. Dr. Vela's mind was still intertwined with Maya's, feeling the relentless surge of the core's energy as it rippled through the young woman's consciousness, and through all of humanity. The core, Vela whispered, it's not a curse. It's a trial, a challenge that demands the species confront their darkest nature and choose who they want to be. Through Maya's eyes, Vela witnessed a global awakening. People across the planet, touched by the core's power, began to resist their impulses for violence and chaos. They helped one another, bridged divides, and forged new alliances. But the darkness was still there. Pockets of hatred, fear, and rage flared like wildfires, threatening to consume everything. The choice was clear. Humanity would either transcend or be consumed. Suddenly, the alien ship's remaining power surged back. Torin spoke through the comms, his voice steady despite the storm outside. Vela, the collective demands a decision. We can't risk letting this force spread unchecked. Do we intervene? Vela hesitated, then made her choice. No, she said firmly. We observe, but do not interfere. This is their crucible. They must prove themselves. With that, the Zolarians withdrew, cloaking their ship and retreating into the depths of space. As they vanished, Maya stood on a rooftop, the core's power humming within her, a symbol of humanity's terrifying potential and breathtaking hope. The universe had been warned. Humanity was no longer just a curious species to be studied. They were a force, wild, unpredictable, and alive. And the galaxy would never be the same.